Hello and welcome back to the finishing line. And joined by Andrew and Tom as normal. We have some good racing to look forward to. What's up?
We must tell the viewers that it is now 27 minutes past 8. We were meant to start at 8. Andrew started where he was. He went to Dave's house, spent a few minutes in Dave's house, and then was gone back to his own house. And we're 27 minutes late starting. Couldn't make it up, lads. You wouldn't get that.
You were listening to Andrew's kids killing each other.
I was like, whoa, now I need to click out this because I could be witness to a murder.
No, that's just everyday occurrence, Tom. That's just what happens when you have... Well, the oldest has gone to the Waterford game up in Limerick, and the other two are left to run riot up there when he's not around to command the place.
Lovely. Oh, that doesn't change as they get older either, Andrew.
Oh, I know.
Anyway, we're not in the studio
today, you know.
Yeah, it's brighter. I don't know what's wrong with my laptop, but that won't work. But we're not in the studio as the gym is busy and it's too noisy. We've some racing from Ascot, from Wetherby, and a race from Carlisle on Sunday, which is usually a decent enough race on Sunday. Before we kick on with the races, we might talk maybe for 2 or 3 minutes about some of the stuff from Willie Mullins that has come out today. Willie Mullins had a Sporting Life stable door come out Sunday, and it seems there's lots has changed since then, or lots wasn't told since then. So in the midst of Sunday to now, Redemption Day has gone by the wayside. St. James's Gate has gone by the wayside. The Nice Guy has gone by the wayside. Sir Gerhard perhaps may go back hurdling. They have not decided fully on chasing yet. And I'm sure there's many other things to come out. Oh, Facile Vega, by the looks of his bumpers, is a Supreme horse, but by his breeding, he's a Ballymore horse. So that tells us fucking nothing about where Facile Vega is going. And I got a great laugh off this today, to be honest.
Today's ones have been spectacular. Well, St. Sam for one. Tearaway Chaser. Oh, it does well. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Might go back hurdling though, but then again, we might drop him out in longer distance over chases. Like, riddle me this, riddle me that. How the hell can you read Willie Mullins?
Willie Mullins is fantastic, lads. I love
great crack out of it.
On Sunday, he said the Nice Guy has been basically a pleasant surprise. He does all his best work on the track. He's a bit small and looks like a hurdler, but we're going to try staying chasing, and we can go back staying hurdling if you want. And on Wednesday, he was no more.
I think Willie might be looking at a different horse. I think Willie got a bit confused there.
I think maybe the Nice Guy is probably the biggest one for people. I know, Andrew, you put up Redemption Day. You got 12 hours out of it.
I got a solid what time? Say 8 o'clock.
So
14 hours out of it.
Somebody put up the dialogue of what was said on our podcast, and it went me saying, Andrew, he's not in the stable tour. Are you worried? No, I'm not worried at all. Dave, I should be. He's dead. Andrew, no, I'm not worried at all, lads.
One day,
hours later, God.
When he wasn't in it on Saturday or Sunday, I was like, do I still go with it? And I was like, oh, fuck it, it's 7:30 now. Couldn't be arsed. Still going with him. Little did I probably did though. Deep down inside, I knew, won't be the last. Hey, what? And I was right. He wasn't the last. 2 days later.
If you ever worry about our tips, Andrew couldn't be asked to come up with another selection.
I was having a bad day. It was 7:30 at night. We were recording in 30 minutes time. I'm not going through the list again, and then I have to go down to make points out of them all, and it just wasn't going to happen.
I will have just one say on it though, because we are having a laugh and joke about it, and the mind of Willie Mullins is an amazing thing. And like, if you hear Patrick is often said, Patrick is obviously one of the closest people to him. Presumably wants to train. I think he'd make a fantastic trainer. And he would tell you, you're doing stuff and you're thinking, right, yeah, this is what we're going to do now. And Willie says, oh no, I'm going to do something different with that horse. And you think he's mental, but in the end, 9 times or 99 times out of 100, he turns out to be right. So I just think Willie just has his own brain, his own way of training, and even those closest to him don't see what's coming. As punters, you've got to accept that's the trainer you're dealing with. Gordon is different, Henry is different. But if you're backing Willie Mullins' horses, you've got to accept that. He's every right not to make up his mind where any of his horses are going till 48 hours before a declaration time. And I see people moaning about it. Don't be moaning about it, guys. They're his horses. They're the owner's horses. Just get on with it. If you're going to back Willie Mullins' horses, this can happen.
It's like a soap opera, and I love it.
But
then at the end of it, don't you feel great when you've worked it out? When when you think you've cracked Willie Mullins, and then he throws a spanner in the works.
There'll be no working it out until, as Tom said, 48 hours before. We will go through Ascot first, then Wetherby, and then Carlisle on Sunday, and then we're going to give you...
Hold me all over the place. Hold on, man. I thought we were starting the other one.
No, we're going to start with Ascot, and then we are going to give another anti-post tip for this week.
Separate video.
A separate video. I literally asked him in the house, were we doing 2 videos, and he said no. But it's
I said, yeah. You asked me were we doing an anti-post, and I said yeah.
Anyway, we kick on with the racing. The first one, I've no idea why this is in here. Andrew chose them, and
oh no, lads! Oh no, someone's just ridden a finish circuit early at Kempton.
Stop!
Oh
Really?
No!
Who is it?
Oh, he's just looked around. Oh, that's cringe.
Kempton, quick, Kempton.
Let me have a look if it is. It's number 10. Oh no, that is so bad. I'm on
Neil Callan.
Hopeful on the inside.
No.
Neil Callan.
Oh, he's joined back in the race and he's in second, but full on stick out everything, drove it out. And I wouldn't mind. He was what price was that horse?
He had a winner up there. He's grand.
The horse went off 73-1 on Betfair anyway, so I had no chance by the looks of it. But
he's gone now. He's a goner. He's gone.
I think he knows it now. He's not silly. He knows. Well, just ridden this finish.
He's like, how many days am I going to get?
Okay, we'll actually get on with some real racing.
Sorry, Dave. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, David.
The reason Andrew put this in is I'm assuming Goshen is favoured at 5-2, and that's the reason why we're doing this. It's a novices limited handicap chase. Cobbler's Dream second favourite 4-1. Sam Marav 5-1. Solo 11-2. I don't like that horse. Riaka 6-1. Gowl Road, who's done the podcast a few favours and numerous times, 7-1, and 10-1 bar. Andrew may as well take this and just choose Goshen.
No, it was more like a talking point than actually going through the race. It was more or less, how do we think he's going to get on?
Bad.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get on great because I think he's a bit of a head case. But no, I wouldn't be putting him up in it. I'd be putting up Gowl Road. Look, last time out, there was 3 or 4 on a race. I just don't mind that. It was the first run of the season. He came on for the same again last season. He was bad in his first run. He came on leaps and bounds from that, and he won at Cheltenham the November meeting. When we were over there, he beat who did he beat today? Unexpected Party. He was third then behind Mumford Road, and he ran a great race behind Metier then at Lingfield, and it finished off with 22 lengths behind Commander of Fleet at the festival. Oh, horse with, I say, a good bit of talent. I see here now, I don't know if the price are right or not, he's 7-1 with Paddy Power, that's in front of you right now. At that, I think he's a great each way bet. Goes on most ground, fitness behind him, and I think there's a good bit of improvement to come from this season. And I think at 7-1, I wouldn't put anyone off having a bet on him.
Tom?
The problem with Goshen being in this and being rated 157 means that there are only 4 other horses correct at the weight or within the handicap. The rest of the field are then out of it. So naturally, I've got to go for one of those. The one I'm going to go for is Solo, who was only beaten the nose in this race last year to Nasalam. That was off 135. He's off exactly the same mark here. He's got a good record fresh. I think he's got a good chance. He wasn't beaten far and away with lads behind Edwardstone. Form kind of tailed off a little bit down at the end of the year, but this could be the time of the season to catch him. Look, Nichols is in very good form, isn't he? Second season novice. I think he's got a chance. Just on Goshen, look, for me, I think he's going to struggle off that handicap mark. He was beaten in the handicap hurdle and well beaten off 153 last season. And his first time over fences, giving away to all of them off 157. So look, personally, I think he'll struggle, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I can't see it either. I just don't think he'll make a chaser. I went for an outsider, Ben Pauling's horse, Bout to Greatness. He won 2 hurdle races last year, then thrown in the deep end in a grade 1 at Aintree, the race that Chelino Bello won. Maybe he'll make a decent chaser. He's a big enough horse, but I would worry for Goshen. Okay.
At worst, at best, you'll say it'd be good viewing.
Yeah, well, or maybe
does
not.
he make it around? That's the question. Does he make it around?
Yeah. My theory on that is he's a clever horse. He's a very clever horse, and normally clever horses don't fall because they're too clever to fall.
Clever. A psychopath, Tom.
Yeah.
He's a psychopath, but he's
one of them that loves going and killing people and getting away with it. One of them ones.
I'd say he's the kind of horse that almost talks to you. Like, one of my dogs at home is so fucking clever. He'd almost talk back to you. And he knows exactly what's going on at all times. I'd say Goshen is exactly like that. And I'd say he's way too clever to just throw himself on the ground.
Anyway, before we waste anybody else's more of anybody else's time talking about Goshen, the 205 at Ascot is the Bateau London Handicap Hurdle. Any harm in asking? 4-1 favourite. Call it a wind 11-2. Hacker de Place, maybe it is French. 7-1. Broomfield Berg 8-1. Washington 9-1. Highway 102 10-1 and 12-1 Bar. Tom, this time you can go first.
So I went for the one you were trying to say there, Dave. I'm going to go with Hacker de Place. Some really good form last season. Was third in the Imperial Cup, then went and won at Aintree, up to 138. But I think was definitely improving when last seen. That run in that handicap hurdle at Linkfield, and was a very good race. It was a very good run as well on that like £1,000,000 day or whatever it's called. I still think it can be very competitive off any mark in the 130s. It's only off 138. And again, Nichols is in flying form. I think he's got a great chance, to be honest.
Andrew?
I am going for Broomfield Berg, Dave. Nicky Henderson's horse. He's had decent enough form last season. He was a 10-length winner over 2 miles, which he was entitled to win off 1-3. He was 1-3 on the day. He's been placed more times than you probably would want, but he was a very good 7th in the Betfair Hurdle where Glory and Fortune won. I like to move with second, firstly was third. He had a lovely comeback. Look, he was 17th in the county, and then he was lengths behind Langerdan at save me, Aintree. Good comeback this season, third behind Nappers Hill at Chepstow and Lawrence Battersby. Comes on for this run again. Look, he's been sent off favours a lot, but he's still in off 130. I think there's still manoeuvrability off that. 6-1 right now. He's a horse that was travelled strongly and back down to 2 miles, a mile and 7.5 furlongs, I think is what he wants. They kind of played around with different kind of trips last year. It was 2 mile 4, 2-1, 2 mile 1. I think 2 mile is what he really wants. Last time it was 2 mile 3.5 furlongs. I think a strong run race, which this looks like it might be, as they always are, these big handicaps at Ascot. 6-1, he'd be the one for me in this. Highway 102, I think, is the one that's going to make the pace. He went off like the clappers I think it was at Fontwell last time, and he only got collared on the line by Gary Moorhorse. So I think there's going to be plenty of pace on it. I think he can get dragged into the race, and I think he can come there and come with a strong run. 6-1 will do for me, Dave.
I'm going to go with John Joe Neal's horse, Annie Harmon Askin, the favourite. The back end of last season, he was starting to get it together and looking like a semi-decent horse. I think he can progress this year. And he's the only horse to have ever beaten Constitution Hill, if you didn't know that.
I do now.
In a point-to-point.
Way ahead.
Okay, the 240 at Ascot. The Byrne Group Handicap Chase, a Premier Handicap. Before midnight is 92 favourite. Amula Gold, 5-1. Nasalam, 11-2. Diego de Charmel, who loves it around Ascot, is 7-1. Frero Bamboo, 7-1. Time White, don't like that horse, 7-1. Monsieur Lecoq, 7-1. Sebastopol, 10-1. And then there's Grey Diamond, Gumball, Joke Dancer, and Daily Tiger. Andrew, you can go again first.
I am going to go for Diego de Charmel, Dave. As you said there, loves it around Ascot. Form figures around Ascot. Fell third, first, second, fifth, and second. Frederick Gingle? Freddie Gingle, 10 pounds off him. So that leaves him with 10 stone 10, I think, 11, something like that. A good horse in these races. This is this kind of level. Handicaps around Ascot will go on any ground, more or less. I don't like Nasalam whatsoever. I know his form figures are first, second, and first. But that doesn't tell the real story. He's a bit of a monkey. God bless him. Before midnight kind of has his number on a run last year, but I think Diego de Charmel, as Tom said in the last race, Paul Nichols has his horse ready to go. Start of the season so far, he's having a good few winners, and I think he's been back there. He's into 5-1. I think he could go off near giant favourite come Saturday. So yeah, with the weight off his back and form around Ascot, I think he could take a bit of beating.
Yeah, Diego de Charmel always runs well around Ascot, but I'm going to go for the horse that won the race last year, Monsieur Lecoq. He had a little jog around Chepstow there a couple of weeks ago to get him fit for the race, and I would say this has been the plan again. So I think Jane Williams' horse, Monsieur Lecoq, for me. And Tom?
Yeah, I give Diego de Charmel a chance as well. He's only won once at Ascot for the amount of times he's ran there, so it's not amazing.
It is amazing. Leave him alone.
Yeah, I don't know about that. What I would say is the rider, Freddie Ginger, is Colin Tizard's grandson and Joe Tizard's nephew. So he's a very well-established pony race and point and hunter chase rider. So do not be concerned about the £10 or the inexperience there that it might seem. He will not.
One of very few jockeys that actually make West Approach win.
Yeah, exactly. So he won't lack from assistance in the saddle. The one I'm going to go for, though, is Nasalem, Gary Moore's horse. Really, really consistent. He's only been outside the 2 once, and that was in the Triumph Hurdle. He won here at this meeting last year, and that race I was on about was Solo. He beat Solo by a nose in that race. That was first time out after a break. He's been off since February, so I presume he's had his issues. But if he was to turn up here off 145, I think he could still be competitive. And what I have written down is Gaz loves an Ascot winner. Gaza does love an Ascot winner, so yeah.
Is Gaz your version of Big Gordo to Dave?
Big G. Yeah.
How is Big Gordo these days, Dave?
Sure, he's doing good. We must get him on the show and he can give us an update on some of the horses.
His face literally just went to when you said that. If we got him on, Tom, would you come on? There's the question. Yeah.
Why not? There's no beef between me and Big G.
I think we see a different side of Tom.
So
would I.
2 weeks later, Pimlico horse in Gargo.
No, that won't be
Okay.
happening.
So the 3:15 at Ascot, another Premier handicap, this time over 3 miles. And Major Dundee is favourite 5-1. T Clipper 8-1. Our Power 8-1. Mr. Malarkey, who Tom loves, 10-1. And Sam 10-1. Danny Kerwin 10-1 and 11-1. And Bar, you have fullback 11-1 and then 12-1 Bar. Tom, you can go first. This is a very hard one to figure out.
Very, very hard race. Mr. Murphy, I am done with. He is a Mr. Monkey Malarkey is what he is. Look, if he goes and wins, best of luck to him, but he won't be carrying my money anymore. And Sam is a horse I am keen on following this year. I think he's going to improve over fences, especially reading Evan Williams' stable tour. He's quite sweet on that, man. So keep an eye on him if he runs here. Evan did say that he wasn't sure if he was going to run, so we'll pass on him for now. The 2 I'll give strong mention, or 3 actually I'll give strong mentions to. Good boy Bobby, he's a great record fresh, but obviously a bit in and out. T Clipper would be the very interesting one for me. Ran in some really, really tough races last year and ran really, really well. I think he'll have come on for that run behind Peregrine Run at Chepstow, and I think he's going to have a cracking chance in this. And the other one is the favourite, Major Dundee, brought along very, 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 very quietly, in fairness. He went up the handicap for wins at Fakenham and Bangor before getting beat at Newbury, and then running a really good race to finish 3rd in the Scottish National. And Alan King is another trainer who's in tip-top form at the minute. 5 out of 26, 19% strike rate, and a whole heap of them placed as well. So, Major Dundee, T Clipper, good boy Bobby, and Sam if he runs. So basically, not Scooby-Doo, Dave.
Anyone else?
4 up.
4. Okay.
For what it's worth, I think Ansam's a good horse going forward this year. Maybe not this Saturday. Good boy Bobby for me because of his record fresh each way. And I will, as always, have an each way bet on Regal Encore because he keeps coming down the weights and he loves Ascot and he will pop up again before he's retired.
And he's a pensioner.
He's 14 now.
Mother of God.
Now, he does have a good Ascot record.
Andrew.
David.
Good boy Bobby.
No, Major Dundee. Really sweet in this fella. I really like him. Last season, he done me a few favours. He's a horse that steadily progressed last season. He won off his comeback run last year, winning by 2.5 lengths. Then, as Tom alluded to, he finished out the season with a really, really good run in the Scottish National, 12 lengths behind Win My Wings. I think this horse is just going to excel at these trips this year. Record is good, fresh. Alan King is in good form. No problem with jumping, no problem with staying. He stays even further. He's in that 10 stone 7, which I think is a lovely way for him. He's a huge horse. There'll be no problems with him carrying any kind of weight. I think he's a lot better than his current mark. And at 5-1, thank you very much. I'll have a bit of that.
Okay. Major Dundee for Andrew. The first one at Wetherby is the 225. The Bet 365 Mayor's Hurdle, a listed race. Favourites Molly Ollie's Wishes, 2-1. Martello Sky, 9-4. Lady Adair, 7-2. Nina the Terrier, 6-1. Zambella, 10-1. C2C, 14-1. And a Rag Outsider, Island Mahi. I'll take this first. I would side with Martello Sky. I think she's a decent mare to a certain level, maybe listed grade 3. She steps up to the top table then against the mares. She came 7th in the Mayor's Hurdle at Cheltenham. They are probably a little bit too much class for her, but I think she can win this race and probably pick up another couple of races throughout the season. Tom, what do you think?
Not a very strong opinion on this. I'd go with Martello Sky. Has got a good record fresh. Brian, he gets on relatively well with her. And look, I'd give her a chance, but not massively not massively overly opinionated on this race.
Andrew.
Yeah, I'm making a 3 for 3 for Matteo Sky. No, I was looking through it, and nearly all these horses' best form are over further, and I think just the class will play on the day. She was 3 for 5 last season, won on her season reappearance last year. She beat Indefatigable at Cheltenham in December, which that to me really is good form for that time of year. Indefatigable is a horse that shows her true form at the start of the season. Won the listed mares at Sandown. They had to go with the mares at Cheltenham and was nowhere to be seen. And yeah, this is kind of her level. I think the class will tell she'll go on any ground, where a lot of the selections I put up today will. She's won on good ground. She's won on heavy ground, so there's no problem whatever. The ground comes up to Wetherby. But yeah, I think when I was looking at this, she was 6-4 favourite at drifting out to 9-4, which wouldn't bother me. Molly Ollie's Wishes, she's progressive enough, but it's not one I really like. Lady Adair she's the unexposed one. She's unbeaten so far. Nina Terry has a run on her belt she could get in the money, but I think Martello Sky, her class in this kind of race might just come to the fore, and 9-4 is all right.
Okay, the 3 o'clock at Wetherby is the Bet365 hurdle, a grade 2 over 3 miles, and the favourite Sporting John 7-4. Indefatigable is 3-1.
Yeah.
I know it's going to
I have to nail this horse's name. Come on.
No, I'm not saying it again. Prashib is 9-2. I'm not saying it again. 300 through 5 is back over hurdles, 6-1. Thomas Darby, I think this might be the race that Andrew said he had no hope in last year.
What price are you laying me, Andrew? What price? 500 was it?
Oh, I'd give you 250 to 1 today.
I would back him if he was 500 to 1. That's one of the greatest lines in finishing line history.
And I stand by it. I still wouldn't back him at 500 to 1.
He's 8-1 this time. Holstone is 16-1. Oscar
Sorry, Dave.
Is back over hurdles, 25-1, and Windsor Avenue, whose form figures read pulled up first, pulled up, is 33-1. Andrew, you can go first.
Go on, tip it. For the crack, tip it. Go on.
Thomas Darby for the absolute shits and giggles. Not a chance. To me, this kind of revolves around if Sporting John comes here in form. I think he's the best horse in the race. He won first time up last year, but he left a sour taste in my mouth second time at Cheltenham when Kansas City Chief beat him. I thought it was a good thing that day. Turned out to be a good thing the next time when he beat the Jam Man for our lovely friend up the north, Thomas, Mr. Ronan McAnally. But I think Indefatigable will win back-to-back races, back-to-back of the Bet365 hurdle. Won it last year. She won it quite convincingly as well, beating Pershima by 2 3/4 length. Paisley Parker's in it. Thomas Darby was 4th on the day. Master Tommy Tugger, Ash Dillon, the Cesare winner run for Oscar was back in 7th. Slatehouse was back in 8th. She's had more or less the same prep she has last year. She's had to have a run on the flat. Pontefract, she finished 1.5 lengths 5th. She will be geared up to retain her title. She's not as big as I put up last year at 8-1, but I think 5-2, the bookies haven't missed it. I think she might drift a bit on the day if the money comes to Sporting John. I'd be a strong fancy now for her tomorrow on Saturday at 5-2. I think Indefatigable will win back-to-back Bet365 hurdles, Dave.
Tom?
Yeah, I agree with Andrew, actually. Indefatigable. As Andrew said, look, she won this last season. Only other starter, Wetherby was second to Lady Buttons. She's had a very similar program to last season, as in she's had the same program. She went to Pontefract, and now she's coming here. Pontefract was a couple of weeks later, admittedly. Some might say she won at Pontefract last season, and she was beat this season, but she was beaten 4 lengths in a 0 to 100? Basically a 0 to 100, 0 to 95. 2 mile 2 flat race. So to only be beat that far in one of those, she ran to an RPR of 92. So yeah, she's gone and done very well there. So she's clearly in good form again. I think she's the one to beat here. The other shout out, I have had a little nibble at Holstone. Now it's a win only bet because this lad is very in and out, but it's just literally based on his first run last year in the Rendlesham. My God, he was good. He absolutely bolted up. If he was to return in that kind of order, he would take a lot of stopping. So look, little nibble, win only 16-1, and then indefatigable as well.
Okay, and I'm going to side with Sporting John. I think he's a bit of an enigma, but on his good day, he'd definitely win this. Just obviously, the lads are after saying about the fitness edge that she has, and not even mentioning her name.
Please say it. Come on.
Who, Martello Sky, is it?
Don't.
Well played.
Which one?
Which
No.
one?
Rex.
Hiroshima.
Yeah. No. Sporting John. No, moving on. Sporting John.
No.
Fitness edge.
Sporting John.
Hiroshima already ran the other day, didn't she, Andrew? In fairness to her, so she has.
Sporting John.
She's got fitness edge.
It's not Thomas Darby either. Ooh, what's her name?
Paul 335 at Wetherby is the best.
What's Dave Hill here?
Indefatigable.
Blank. What?
Indefatigable.
He got it!
We can do it.
I'm trying to build up the confidence.
That's as close as he's ever got, but it's still not it.
Oh, leave him alone. Bully. Absolute bully you are.
The 335 at Wetherby is the bet 365. Charlie Hall Chase, a grade 2 over 3 miles. Bravemansgame is 5-4 favourite. Ahoy Senor is 5-2. Eldorado Allen is 5-1. National Drasher 11-1. Secret Investor 11-1 and 14-1 Bar. Andrew, is Bravemansgame going to beat the Scotsman, or is it going to be the other way around, or is there going to be something else thrown in there?
I don't think there's going to be a shock. It's either going to be Ahoy Senior or Bravemansgame. I think no matter what happens here, whether it be Bravemansgame be revved up or what, or Ahoy Senior is revved up, come the end of the season, I think Ahoy Senior is going to be by far better than Bravemansgame. I think he's going to progress a lot more. He's more of a staying chaser than Bravemansgame would ever be. Bravemansgame is an unbelievable jumper of a fence. But I haven't liked him. I will never like him. I think he's a flat track bully, to say. This is a flat track to jump in. Yeah, I'm getting to it. This is the flat track. Jumping down the back straight, Wetherby, he needs to be really good. But Ahoy Senior has also won here and won impressively, beating the Grand National winner last season. I think if Ahoy Senior progresses a nice bit this season, if he turns up on his A game, I definitely see him beating Bravemansgame. I think he will outstay him. If he doesn't, like they met at Kempton, all right, in the quarter star novice chase. It wasn't Ahoy Senior's ball game whatsoever. Too tight of a track. His jumping went to pot. If he gets into a good rhythm, and they just let him go. See, again, this all depends on what their plan is for the season. They don't want to ruin his season on Saturday and have him tuned up just to beat Bravemansgame and prove a point again. Where I think Paul Nichols will have Bravemansgame revved up to the last to win this. Because he knows, he's probably just, majority of us know deep down the side, he's never going to run Cheltenham, he's never going to run the Gold Cup, and if he does, he'd be beat with a lap to go. So whether this is the first target for Bravemansgame, as in a main target and how revved up he's going to be, he will be hard to beat. But if they have Ahoy Senior ready to go, as fit as they can get him at home, and if he comes on again, I can see it being a good 3-4 lengths win for Ahoy Senior.
So you didn't really choose either of them?
I just said 3-4. Yeah. Ahoy Senior wins.
Tom, finally we got there.
You are going to hate my view of this race because I'm staying out of the top two debate. It's 2-1 to Ahoy Senor at the minute. They're very evenly matched, I feel. They're both rated 161. if it came down to picking one of these based on the prices at the minute, I think Ahoy Senor is 5-2, Bravemansgame is 5-4. Based on the prices, I would back Ahoy Senor 5-2 all day long. I think they should be a little bit closer. I would think Bravemansgame might be a little bit more wound up for this, especially the form the Nichols team is in. So that for those reasons, I want to stay away from that battle. And if one of them wins, which they probably will, best of luck to them. My other bet this week was on Eldorado Allen at 10-1. Now, by the time this has come around, I think he's half that price. But I think he's got a good chance, lads. I genuinely do. He's won on 3 of his 4 seasonal reappearances. He was only beaten 3/4 of a length on the other occasion, on the 4th occasion. Unexposed at 3 miles. He beat Roy Pagaya last season before being only beaten 15 lengths in the Ryanair by Allaho. Bombed out Aintree. That's fine. Don't mind horses doing that. I thought he was really good form last season. Joe Tizard is talking him up as well. I think for an each way bet, I think he's a cracking bet. And I think he's one who can go and improve. You look at his form last season, it's good. It's solid, like grade 2 level. When he turns up into a grade 1, he normally finds one too good, as he'll probably find one of these two too good. But I thought an each way bet, I thought he was very solid.
Yeah, I think Ahoy will outstay Bravemansgame. I think he's stronger stayer at 3 miles. I don't like Eldorado Allen, so less said about him, the better. Yeah, I hope Ahoy is the best horse in the race, and I hope he shows it. I like him a lot. Yeah, I don't like Eldorado Allen, and I don't like Bravemansgame, so I can't be choosing one of those.
So who are you choosing?
Ahoy Senor.
Senor.
The last race, Sunday, 2:30, Carlisle, Colin Parker Memorial Intermediate Chase listed race. A horse that me and Tom put up last week is in this race. Lasted 1 fence because we both said he's an idiot. I'll never, ever tip him or back him again. Miller's Bank, Vanilla Drama. There's no prices for this. Korak Rambler, Earn River, Bear Gills, who's having his first start, well, if he turns up, Beauport, Upton Road, and Burrows Diamond. I don't like this race, so Tom, you can take it.
Yeah, look, Miller's Bank was frustrating last week, wasn't it? The angle there was all around his form at Aintree, and disappointing that he didn't make it past the fence. Got his chance in this, definitely got his chance in this. This isn't a race that I'm mad keen on. The one I'm going to put up for it would be Manila Drama. Was second in the graduation chase here over 2 miles. I think some of these, like Korak Rambler, is going to find this too quick, I imagine. And yeah, I just thought something like Manila Drama might be revved and ready to go, and this might be his best chance of winning. But don't rule out Miller's Bank. Good horse, but yeah, I'm frustrated with him after last week. But probably a no bet race for me. This.
I would agree with Tom, Vanilla Drama, but a no bet race for me. Andrew.
I'm going to take a chance with Earn River. Very progressive horse last season. Came back from 248 day break to beat Beakstown over 2 mile 4 by 6 lengths. Went on to Wetherby then to beat Uncle Alistair by 13 lengths. I really fancied him for the Manifesto Novice Chase at Aintree, only for to fall when he was getting into it. His jumping wasn't great that day. I don't know what was going on, but he was still there. He was coming there 4 lengths behind, and he got brought down, or he fell, I think. Brought down or fell, one the other, and then look right off the run behind St. Calvados that at Sandown just didn't really go through. He was hampered at the start, and everything went to pot. So I think if he comes back to his early season form, he could play a lead role in this. As Tom said there, if this was over further, I think Korak Rambler would play a huge part. I just think he'd be outpaced and running on to finish. He's one I'd be interested now in big staying handicaps throughout the season. Bear Gills we haven't seen since his fourth behind Bob Allinger in the Ballymore, so that's just definitely a watching brief on that. And at that, he's not a horse I like it all. Miller's Bank, at least you got longer out of that than I did out of Redemption Day, so that's a plus. That's a plus. But yeah, Earn River.
Okay, naps and next bests. Andrew.
Nap. 315 Ascot, Major Dundee. Next best, I will. Oh, Christ, who will I go for next best? In the Fat Girl Ball.
My nap is Ahoy Senor. My next best is Martello Sky.
And that leaves me then, I guess. My nap is going to be Hacker de Place and the 205 at Ascot. And next best is Nassalam 240 at Ascot. We got to mention one thing before we go.
What?
Which was a horse that ran today. We all watched it, so don't lie and say you didn't. It was in the 4 o'clock at the Curragh, which I thought was quite a good race, actually. First run for 683 days. Make Good is back, baby. Finished third, ran an absolute stormer. Looks like he'll definitely win off that mark of 64 because I do think that was a good race today. Yeah, Make Good is back. The dream is still alive. There's still races to be won. He's definitely not the worst horse in training.
So if anyone is going to watch our anti-post video after this, I can assure you that Tom has put up Make Good to win the stairs hurdle.
Probably.
Not a chance.
Probably.
Yes, anyway.
As ever, please like and subscribe to the videos. Andrew, the website is
thefinishinglinepod.com.
in case you want to check out the website. Please leave your own selections in the comments below, and we will see you next week.